Good morning, good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for inviting me in this feminist dialogue. My name is Fridah Wawira Nyaga, and I work with Coalition on Violence Against Women, that's COVAW. I'm the acting executive director. Allow me to start by saying that feminist diplomacy in climate justice must be intersectional and inclusive for it to be truly feminist. Research by the World Bank shows that women and girls are up to 14 times more likely to be harmed during a crisis. Climate-related disasters amplify existing gender inequities, leaving survivors more vulnerable to gender-based violence, even after life returns to normal for others. Report shows that girls and women with disabilities experience higher rates of living in poverty and or in rural areas, mostly as small-scale farmers. And this makes them particularly affected by the climate crisis. They face compounded challenges such as difficulties in accessing essential services, in engaging in physically demanding tasks, and also they have to depend on others for assistance. A COVAW 2023 study on impact of climate change among women and girls from Maasai communities confirms a heightened risk of sexual and gender-based violence, particularly during longer drought season, where women and children are forced to walk much longer distances to fetch water, and even they are forced to fetch water at night so that they can avoid overcrowded water points. Where pastoralism is the main livelihood, prolonged drought kills cattle, leaving families with little or no income. Girls are then seen as a source of income, and they are married off in exchange of dowry, and this fuels child marriage. During flooding season, makeshift houses in the informal settlements are often swept away. This leaves women and girls without shelter, forcing them on the streets and exposing them to increased risk of sexual and gender-based violence. Participation of women with intersecting identities, whether they have a disability or are indigenous, among others, in climate justice decision-making remains critically low in the region. Intervention often invisibilize women with disabilities, or at best they portray them as passive victims of climate change, not as change catalysts with the necessary skills and experience for transformative climate action. In conclusion, women with disabilities are among the most impacted by climate change, but they have also gained more expertise in adaptation and resilience strategies, and therefore it's vital to include them in climate action as change agents so that we can achieve a just, sustainable, and climate-resilient future. When we center the voices of women with disabilities and other marginalized persons, we move away from extractive models that exploit both people and the planet, and instead, we nurture economies of care, interdependence, and sustainability. Thank you.